60 seconds and it forced upon me, I can't refuse it. I didn't seek it, I didn't choose it. I must suffer if I lose it. Give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but eternity is in it. Heard Dr. Mays go on to say it's not how long one lives, but how well one lives. I want to appreciate our leadership. Haven't lived that long, but he's sure been living well. Reverend Charles Williams II. Put your hands together for him. Come on, put your hands together for him. Could be selling dope, could be locked up, but he's saying no justice, no peace. Come on, put your hands together for Reverend Charles Williams. Come on, make some noise for Reverend Charles Williams. Come on, make some noise. Reverend Charles Williams. I also heard an urban poet by the name of Tupac say, have you heard about that rose that grew in the crack in concrete? Prove nature wrong by learning to walk without feet. Funny it seems that by living its dreams, it learned to breathe fresh air. Pac said, God bless the rose that grew in concrete when nobody else can. We are that rose, citizens of the city of Detroit, Flint, Benton Harbor, Pontiac, under the scourge of emergency management, fighting against poverty and senseless violence in our communities, fighting to be educated and uplifted. We are that rose and we will make it in this concrete jungle. There's a song that Reverend Williams asked me just to do a little line of this. I'm going to just do a little line of this as we get ready for Reverend Sharpton. Y'all heard it? Somebody turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor, I never would have made it. Say, I never would have made it. Say, I never would. Just grab your neighbor by the hand and say, I never would have made it. But I had the Lord on my side. Is that right? Put your hands together. You know you never would have made it. I would have lost it all.
us here tonight. Also show how thankful and grateful we are to the leadership and vision and sacrifice of the state chair of National Action Network and pastor of this church, Reverend Charles Williams. Brothers and sisters from other chapters, Brother Warrior from Flint and others. But let me say how honored that we all are that we have seen history in biblical recording. People fulfill the mission of their fathers. And we are seeing in the flesh that a giant has risen to claim the legacy of his father unfulfilled. And we're going to walk with him every step of the way. Martin Luther King III. Officials. Let me say this, I'm not going to be long, but there's a few things I have to say. One is that it's great that a lot of folk will march tomorrow. All right. What is not good is that a lot of folk haven't marched till tomorrow. All right. When you look at what has happened today as opposed to 50 years ago, the question is why it took some folk this long to march. And where they gonna be Sunday and Monday? Don't remember a dream if you turn Detroit into a nightmare. Fact of the matter is, when Martin Luther King Jr. came to Detroit 50 years ago, labor was strong. Workers could work in factories. People were fighting so they could buy homes, send their kids to decent schools. 50 years ago, the mayor that was elected and the city council that was elected decided where the public funds were spent, decided where goods and services were rendered. 50 years ago, the biggest preachers in town, Reverend C.L. Franklin, marched with Dr. King. 50 years later, the mayor decides nothing. The city council has been their power removed. Unions have been broke down to nothing. You've got emergency managers over the schools, emergency managers transformed. Martin III said tonight, read the whole speech. He talked about how his father talked about a promissory note, and when they deposited the check in the Bank of Justice, it was returned marked insufficient funds. Well, we redeposited it, and now it's been returned marked stop payment. They don't intend to pay, so we intend to fight until they pay. In his speech, a governor in Alabama whose lips were dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. Y'all remember that part? Well, what does that mean? It means that he has interposed his will over the will of the people and nullified federal law. That right, counsel? Well, I want to know, when y'all head down Woodward tomorrow, are we going to talk about Snyder, who has interposed his to just reminisce. We come to Detroit and we're going all over this country to let folk know that our fathers and mothers shed blood to open these doors for us. And just like Martin Luther King was not afraid of Wallace, we want Snyder and them to know that we are his children and we are not afraid of y'all. Police shooting down homeless men. You couldn't march then. Police throw a bomb in the house. Kill a 7-year-old baby. You couldn't march then. They took money out your schools. And your babies don't have after-school programs. But you couldn't march then. But now you want to hustle and pimp and use the name of sacred people. We're not going to let you misuse the name. Dr. King stood for the downtrodden, the forgotten, and the rejected. And it's time we stand up again. Martin Luther King III said to me, it's time to go back to Washington this time and raise the moral imperative. It's time to go back at the half-century point and raise a voice because they're going to distort what my father and mother was about. I told them, well, I don't know how we're going to do it. I don't know where the money coming from. But we're going to witch. We're going to do what is necessary. Because we come too far. We fought too hard. We spent too many nights in jail. We went to too many funerals to turn around now. It's time to start the movement again. It's time to keep the dream alive. In Detroit early this morning, Rem Williams brought me out to the corner where this young man was shot in the head for staring at another guy in the store. That led him to Ayanna Jones. Our children are no longer dreaming of being stars. Motown used to sell dreams of stars. Now our kids are growing up wanting to be thugs and hoodlums, and they gauge and measure their life by how many guns they have. And you are living in the hospital afraid of your own children. It's time we take charge of our these children. There's no brightness in the eyes no more. There's no hope in the eyes no more. Our children don't care if every day is their last day. When we had nothing, we always hoped about something. I grew up in a single parent home on welfare food stamps, but I never thought I was underprivileged. Because my mama didn't raise me on what I didn't have. She raised me that life was not about where you stop. Life was about where you head. She raised me to believe that if God be for you, it's more than the whole world against you. She raised me to believe that there would be a way out of no way. She raised me to believe that if Daddy never came home, I had another father. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me that I'm his own. So I want you to know we got work to do. We got to work on those that have robbed us of our rights on the outside. We got work to do. Mark's right. They may take back voting rights. They may change affirmative action. But we also must rebuild the spirit of hope, the spirit of promise, the spirit of dreamers in our children's mind. They were not born to be gangbangers. They were not born to be shooting each other. They were not born to kill. They were born to heal and to build and develop. Our parents did it for us. We've got to do it for these children. So tomorrow is just the beginning. It's time to march again. Take your marching shoes out. We're going to march until democracy come back to Detroit. We're going to march until funds come back to Detroit. We're going to march until hope come back to our children. We're going to march until parents control the community. We'll never back down. We'll never sell out. We'll never give in. Stand up and take our communities back. Well, somebody asked me, I'm going to see John Williams. Somebody asked me, don't you get tired? Don't you get weary? I say, yeah, but I must keep fighting. Martin keeps fighting. Both of us got up 4:30 this morning. I don't care how tired I get. I don't care how weary I feel. I get up every morning and I say my prayers. And when I get up off my knees, I only got one thing in mind. I only have one wish in mind, Lord. That every bigot, every dope seller, every gunslinger, look when they know I rose again and say, damn, he's up again.